just in case you ask.
Perfect. And we are live. We are live. I want to welcome you, Terry. I know we've known each other for maybe a few months through, some of the groups that we participated
Right.
in. And
Yeah.
now you're also a member of our confident, inspired, and aspiring limitless women's group. And I know it's such a long name. To be honest, I changed it a few months ago. You might have been part of the group at the
I
time.
remember that. Yes. Yes. That was quite a production. Coming up with a new name, and it's not easy to name something.
It's tough, but I'm still thinking about the women who want to get back in their groove. So I'm still thinking of that, but
Right.
we've changed our name, and I think this one, aligns more with, what it is I want for the group. But today it's more about you. It's interviewing the member, and you're a member of this group. And I usually give members the opportunity to, talk a little bit about themselves. I see we have
Okay.
somebody online now. Hello, hello.
I'm
So a
going to
little bit,
grab my earbuds so I can hear
sure,
a little bit better. Okay.
sure.
Okay.
And so a little bit about yourself, and we'll also talk about your business and what you do, right?
All
That's
right.
the whole purpose of it. And I see that somebody is watching us from our membership site, from our Facebook site. So who's watching? Type your name in. We're going to be doing, a lot of different things today with Terry, mostly talking about her business, but also tapping. So if you have any questions, whoever's watching, type it in the chat box and we'll bring it up. So Terry, I only know you really as a coach, because we've met through coaching groups. I don't really
Right.
know anything else about you. So why don't you tell us a little bit more?
Well, let's see. When I lived in California, I live in Minnesota now, but I lived in California for almost 30 years. And yeah, Northern California, San Francisco area. I was a psychotherapist, and I did that for probably 27, 28 of those years.
Wow.
And then I owned the place that I'm living in now. It's on a lake in Minnesota. And I wanted to live here full time. I knew that. And I wanted to spend more time with my mom, who was at that point in her 90s. And so I wanted to come back and spend more time with her. And I knew she didn't have that many years left. And I got 5 good years with her. And then she died a couple years ago.
Mm.
So when I got here, I thought, what am I going to do? I need to do something for a living. And I didn't want to be a therapist anymore, but I love working with people. And I like working with them in a deep way.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have always worked with people using, tools like tapping or EMDR, things like that. And I wanted to continue the work. I just didn't want to have the business type of being a therapist or too many
Okay.
rules, regulations.
Okay. Now you mentioned EMDR, and I can't remember what that stands for. Police, eye
Oh,
movement.
it's, let me think if I can remember. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing.
All right.
It's quite a mouthful.
I was going to say that is kind of a big word to say what exactly? Please help
Yeah,
me.
and the thing I loved EMDR and I used it for most of my practice, my therapy practice. I loved it. My point of view on everything is people shouldn't have to suffer. If you've
Yeah.
got an issue, let's get rid of it quickly. And so I've never really been big on talk therapy. I did some of that with some clients, but I like to get
Mm,
in, use a tool like tapping or EMDR,
mhm.
really identify that issue and clear it for them so they can get on with their lives.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, a lot of women in our group are over 40. Some of them are younger, but a lot of them are over 40. And, I don't know all the members. I know some of them have businesses, but, we all, at one point or another, struggle with confidence.
Right.
We all do, right? at some point, whether it's in our 30s or maybe even, now at our current age. So I know we'll be doing some tapping, but I'm wondering if EMDR also helps to kind of, I don't know what it does, but does it help to bring up some of those issues to surface to start feeling more confident or?
I don't use EMDR anymore, but
Okay.
and the reason I don't is because you really kind of have to be in the same room with a person when you're
Oh,
doing EMDR. Now, I've never tried it through Zoom or what are we on? Live StreamYard.
yeah.
I've never tried it on camera, so I don't know how that would work. And that's why I kind of dabbled in tapping as a therapist, but I really got into it as a coach because I can teach my clients how to do it in a few minutes.
Sure.
Phone. They don't even have to be watching me. So
Cool.
it's very user friendly. I even taught my mom how to use it, and she had her little diagram of where to tap, and she would tap on her own, but then every time I'd come over, she'd want to tap with me. And we worked on, like her back pain, and um,
Oh, so it's not just emotion stuff.
well, it deals with the emotional. I mean, EFT is emotional freedom techniques.
That's right.
So um, it always deals with the emotional component of anything. But if you think about like chronic pain or just pain in general, a lot of pain has a big, huge emotional component to it. And so if you can bring down the emotion, and the emotion might be how you feel about having the pain or how you felt when you got the diagnosis, or, I mean, there's a whole lot of different aspects to it. And if you're tapping on the emotion or the fear, the anxiety, whatever that is, and you bring that down, then what you're going to do is you're going to bring the pain way down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty interesting. Okay. We will be tapping in just a few minutes, but I want to know more about how you got into it. You said you used it a bit in therapy and then you really started using it more in coaching, but how did you, get into it or how did you discover it?
Boy. I think I think what happened was I have to really think about this. With the tapping in particular, I was dealing with some issues. I was in California. I
Oh,
went to a therapist who did all kinds of weird stuff. And she did this, it was called thought field therapy at the time. This was before EFT came out. And I loved it. It was tapping, but it had a different sequence for every issue. So if you're dealing with anger, there's a sequence. If
oh,
you're dealing with fear, there's a different sequence. And so I'm trying to do this with my clients because it really worked for me. But I'm sitting with a client with a book on my lap because who can memorize all those sequences?
right,
And
right.
luckily Gary Craig came along, and I don't remember, I think probably 40 years ago or so, and simplified the thought field therapy into EFT.
Oh, that's
He came to the realization you don't need all those different sequences. You're tapping on meridian points, and you can tap on the same meridian points over and over, and it has the same effect.
cool.
So
Now
thank
I
God
know,
for Gary Craig.
yeah, yeah. So I know that, we women over 40, over 50, we all at some point experience some challenges, whether it's, the ending of a relationship or maybe
Right.
even losing a job or, life events affect us at some point in our life. And I'm wondering if EFT or tapping can be helpful to people who might be going through some traumatic experiences, or maybe just
Yes.
anybody who might not be as well.
Yeah, I think if we're over the age of two, well, not even, I think, I mean, like I'm adopted, so I have all kinds of birth issues that I've had to work through. And I'm still working through. But yes, it can help with trauma. Definitely. In fact, it's very good with trauma. It's used a lot with PTSD, but if you think about it, people, women in particular in our cases, women who are going through life changes, there's feelings about it. There's
Yeah,
beliefs that come up because we all have limiting beliefs, all of
yeah,
us.
that's
It's
right.
just about identifying what those are. And then in my case, doing the tapping to really clear the limiting beliefs, clear the fear, clear the person's voice in your head that's saying, "Ugh, you're an idiot, you're too old,
Yeah,
it's too late to do what you want to do in your life."
right.
Whatever that is for the person. Yes.
Cool. Great. Okay,
Yeah.
so why don't we lead into that? Um, and I'm going to give you I'm going to be truthful with you. I usually am truthful, but I've been doing videos lately on mindset and wellness, but
Mhm.
specifically about mindset. And I try to always bring up something that I'm currently going through.
Right.
And I mentioned, I think it was on Monday or late last week, I can't remember, but that I am now open to finding a love relationship. I'm now open to it. But
Okay.
when I'm saying it now, I'm thinking, yeah, right, okay. You know what I mean? That is still coming up, and
So what's the yeah, but?
you'll never find somebody. Okay, I won't find somebody that I really want, that I really want to be with, and I won't find somebody through online dating. I've got all of these, and this is the truth, right? And I realize that, especially as what happened. Oh, I don't want to get into it a lot, but I shared this that I got contacted by Insight Timer, which is a meditation app. Okay.
Okay.
A meditation app. I got contacted by a few guys, and when I did a
Wow.
lot, yeah, when I did a live a few Mondays ago, I was talking about the what if there were possibilities? What if this person who contacted me on this Insight Timer app was actually a real, authentic, kind, person? So I thought, okay, I'll respond to this person because in my mind it was, I knew right away how some of these messages sound. Okay, that was in my mind, and in that case, I responded, and it was validated. So it reinforced the fact again that I won't meet anybody online, especially through a meditation app. So just to give you an idea, I told myself, this is something I really want. I would love to be in a healthy and loving relationship. I really do, deep down in my heart, even though I've been busy working and I've been taking the masculine, putting the pants on. Man, I can
Right.
do almost everything on my own now. I probably could do everything on my own,
Right. Right.
So that those fears still come up and the beliefs are still there that I won't find somebody. So
Right.
so is tapping for that too? You were
You can
talking about
tap on
beliefs.
just about anything. Really. Truly.
Cool. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So let's do a bit of tapping. How about if you tell
Okay.
us
I
a
didn't
little bit
prepare
about?
anything because I had no idea we were going to do this, but what the heck?
We're playing with it. We're having fun.
Yeah. Okay. So have you ever tapped before?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've tried it before, yes, and I remember some of it. The I'm here. I remember some of the sequence, but not everything.
Okay. Now I don't do the one on my wrist.
Oh,
But
okay.
that is, let me say this, there are a lot of versions of
Oh,
of
wow.
tapping. There are because like I said, there was the thought field therapy, and so there were a lot of different sequences, and a lot of people will still use some of those tapping points. I do the original, it's the most basic one, and I just found out by listening to the Tapping Solutions World Summit that it's called the clinical EFT because it's the original.
Oh,
And so I'm going to teach you that one.
perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. And it's the one probably most people use. Okay, so we start out tapping on it's called the side of the hand or the karate chop point.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So if you're right-handed, you take your right hand. And we do this because I always start teaching tapping and then I go off on all these other directions.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to make it comfortable for you. It's a process that's very user-friendly. It's pretty hard to screw it up. And so you're going to take your dominant hand probably just because it's more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And you, just so you know, we're tapping on that. We have these flows of meridians going through our system. They're the same on the right side of the body as they are on the left. So it doesn't matter which side of the body you tap on. Sometimes I start tapping with my right hand because I'm right-handed, and I'll switch over and do some points on my left hand, then I'll go back to my right hand. So it's so flexible.
Okay.
Okay, just so you know that. So you usually take 2 or 3 fingers,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whatever's comfortable.
Okay.
And I always say, people always ask, well, how long do you tap on a point? I tap on a point till I'm done saying something. And so it might be, it might be 5, 5 hits. It could be a little bit longer depending on how wordy I am.
Okay.
But yeah, so, okay. So the karate chop point, and we start with this usually. Now, a lot of people skip this one. I think it's important because what we're doing on the karate chop point is we're going to say a statement or a version of a statement 3 times. I don't know where they came up with 3 times, but we say it's a setup statement. So we want to address the issue, and then we say something like, even though I have this fear of meeting a man, or this belief that I won't attract a man, I still love and accept myself.
Okay.
Or some version of that. And the reason we do this is it addresses any resistance that your system might have in letting go. Because as you were saying, you consciously really want a love interest in your life, a relationship with a man in your life, but you've got all this unconscious stuff sabotaging that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of, your subconscious and your conscious are really fighting each other.
Right.
We want to get to the subconscious stuff, which tapping does, so that you're more in alignment.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after we do the karate chop point 3 times, then our first one is we're going to tap on the eyebrow, and it's kind of where the hair starts on the eyebrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, it's hard to do with glasses. I usually wear glasses, but sometimes you'll see people doing it on both. I tend to just do it on one.
Okay.
The next point is the side of the eye. So you can feel this bone on the side of the eye and just tap there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then if you follow the bone under the eye, you'll tap there.
Yeah, I'm going to take my glasses off.
Yeah. I know it hurts.
There. I can't see you anymore, but I'm good.
Can you? Oh, okay. I'll just talk and you can follow. The next one, under the nose. And then the following one is, you can either call it the chin point or under the mouth. It's in the crevice between your mouth and your chin.
Okay.
This next one is called the collarbone. So if you find your collarbone and go to the, you have too much stuff here in the way. Find your collarbone. Either one works. And just go down about an inch or so.
Mm.
That looks really weird on the camera. Okay, so you just tap right there. And this one, sometimes, so I can get both, I'll just kind of tap like that and get both, get all of those, any points that are in there.
I see. Okay. Instead of using both hands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is odd, and I don't even know if you can see it on my camera, on the camera. It's called Under the Arm.
Under the arm.
And
okay.
yeah, so you're going to go kind of on the side where your bra is for women.
If I'm wearing a bra.
Right, exactly. I usually say that, but I didn't. So it's about a hand's width from your armpit.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the top of the head.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So there are a total of, I think it's nine points there.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so let's start. So do you want to work on I can't attract a man, or
I won't attract a man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's just start on the karate chop point.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I believe I'll never attract a man,
Even though I believe I'll never attract a man,
I still choose to love and accept myself.
I still choose and love and accept myself.
Even though I know I'm never going to attract a man,
Even though I know I'll never attract a man,
I still love and accept myself
I still love and accept myself
and all of my beliefs.
and all of my beliefs.
Okay, and one more time. Even though I'm pretty sure I'm never going to attract anybody,
Even though I'm pretty sure I'll never going to attract anybody,
I honor my beliefs and all of my feelings.
I honor my beliefs and all of my feelings.
Okay, now on the eyebrow, I'm never going to find somebody I want.
I'm never going to find somebody I want.
Now I'm going to take great liberty because I have no idea what's going on in your mind. So side of the
I
eye.
had to repeat all that. I'm going to take great liberty because
No. That was a side note. Okay. Side of the eye. I'm too picky.
I am too picky.
Under the eye. Who's going to want me now?
Who's going to want me now at my age? I had to
At
add
my
that.
age. Under the nose. I'm too old.
I'm too old.
Chin. All the good ones are taken.
All the good ones are taken.
Collarbone. It's never worked before.
It's never worked before.
It's under the arm. I find them, but it doesn't work out.
I find them, but it doesn't work out.
Top of the head. I can find them.
I can find them.
I just can't keep them.
I just can't keep them.
Okay. Eyebrow. I'm never going to meet a man.
I'm never going to meet a man.
Side of the eye. I'm definitely not going to ever meet a man online.
I'm definitely never going to meet a man online.
Under the eye. And since I don't really go out much, where am I going to meet out there?
And since I don't go out much, except at the grocery store, how
Right.
am I going to meet somebody out there?
Exactly. It's hopeless. Oh, under the nose. It's hopeless.
It's hopeless.
chin. It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
Collarbone. I may as well just give it up right now.
I might as well just give it up right now.
Under the arm. Wait a minute. What if I don't want to give it up?
Wait a minute. What if I don't want to give it up?
Top of the head. I'm just having fun. That's a crappy attitude.
That is a crappy attitude, Linda.
Eyebrow. What if that?
Oops, eyebrow. Oops.
Oh, eyebrow. What if that perfect man for me is out there?
What if that perfect man for me is out there?
What if he's waiting for me? Oh, side of the eye. Sorry. What if he's waiting for me?
What if he is waiting for me?
Under the eye. And because of my stubbornness,
And because of my stubbornness,
we never meet.
we never meet.
Under the nose. That would be a tragedy.
That would be a tragedy.
And I can't let that happen.
And I can't let that happen.
Okay, so I'm going to end right there. We usually just take a deep breath, and we could go on. And usually, like if I were really working with you, I'd be writing down some of your thoughts. So I'd use those within the tapping. And so you see what I did? I kind of switched it partway through. And normally I'd have a little bit more of a sense where you were with that. And if I'm tapping on myself, I know when I've already feeling the shift a little bit, like starting to feel hopeful, then I start going into that more positive stuff.
Okay, so
That's one way of doing it. Another way is you can just keep tapping on the negative and then see what's coming up till you bring it down to so you bring that, like I also didn't ask you, how upsetting is this to you on a scale of 1 to 10?
that's, yeah.
Yeah, I would normally do that at the beginning. And then have you rate it at the end of the negative. And then I'd want to install really some positive, like we started to do at the beginning, or at the end of that one.
Yeah. Wow, I could see, because I shared to you, some of my beliefs, and it's true. I do have those beliefs, but I could see how, like, towards the end, when we were shifting those beliefs into more positive, beliefs, I could see that doing that, regularly can actually make a difference.
Yes.
It can actually make a difference, and I could see practicing something like that often.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into doing it almost every day.
Yeah.
Even though I teach tapping, I'm not very good at remembering to do it myself. Sometimes when don't we all kind of do that to some degree?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just talked a little bit about that the other day, because I shared it on Mindset Monday, what my intentions were.
Uh-huh.
And then Tuesday, Wednesday, I completely forgot that my intentions were to be more open to relationships. And I went for a drive. I picked up some groceries, and I'm in the car. I didn't do a live, but I did a video, thinking we have to remind ourselves of what's important to us
Mm-hmm.
every day. Otherwise, life goes on. And
Yeah.
so, and
And I
working
think
towards
part of this,
special.
I heard somebody say this, and it's like when you're in that place where you really need the tapping or the mindset shift or whatever, we're not in our adult mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, if you're into one of your limiting beliefs, your limiting beliefs started by the time you were 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
So you're back there. Your subconscious is back there. And your mindset shift, or your tapping in my case, is in the adult place. But that there's a big divide. So that's why they don't connect. When we're needing the tapping, we're not in the right mindset to remember to do the tapping.
Oh, so how do we remind ourselves more of it? Like, how do
I think
we
it's
bring it
really
up?
making it a
Yeah,
habit.
yeah.
And then in tapping, it's called the personal peace procedure, PPP. And the idea is you write down any events in your life, starting from as early as you can remember, and keep track of them.
Mm,
And then every day, or however often, you tap on one of those
mm,
until you clear it.
mm.
And and then by the time you're done with this, you're in a much better place. But it also gets you in the habit of remembering to tap.
Yes, wonderful. So we're almost out of
Okay.
time. I mean, we went a little bit over, but that's okay. Tell us more about the kind of work you do now. You mentioned you're a coach, so
Yes, I
tell us a
now
little bit
work.
more about that.
I used to work with women, or I used to work with people who had money issues. So I'm a
Mm.
tapping into wealth coach. And
Oh,
I recently, like in the last year, decided I really want to work with women over 50 who want to live a life without regret.
wonderful, wonderful. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to put a pause on there because I noticed that Abdul is here. He's watching us on our YouTube because, by the way, this is also being on YouTube right now.
Oh,
Hi, Abdul. How are you doing, Abdul? And Abdul, I believe, is a man. He's a young man.
right.
So we talked about, mostly women, but because Abdul is here, let's talk a little bit about how this might help young men like Abdul as well. Because we were talking about tapping. So how can this help somebody who, I don't know, may not be as confident, let's say.
Well, confidence is really about a lot of fears, anxieties, and all of that. So you can just kind of take that apart and start tapping on each component of that.
Mm,
I think confidence is such a byproduct of so many different things. And I know when I was working with people on the money issues. We didn't address confidence, but with all the
mm,
tapping we did and changing beliefs about money, about themselves, everyone else ended up with way more confidence at
right.
the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Very interesting. So thanks for because I wanted to just say hi to Abdul. So
absolutely.
you work mostly with
I work
women
with
now.
women over 50 now.
Hmm.
I still do the money piece. So if anybody's interested in that, I still do that.
Hmm.
But I'm really focusing now on working with women over 50 who are kind of at that stage where, we're waking up and saying, or we're awakening in our lives. The fog is lifting and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been taking care of everybody else. I've been just kind of keeping my head down, doing. But, I still have some good years left. What do I really want to spend the rest of my life doing? Where's that dream that I've put on hold for all these years? Is that something I still want to do? And then I help them, because we all have these voices like, you're too old, it's too late, what are people
Right.
going to think if I go after
Right.
this now, or I don't have the money, sometimes
Right.
comes up.
Yeah.
Whatever those are just limiting beliefs.
Right. Right.
And we want to find those and use the tapping to really clear those out so you can have this life that you really want.
Love it. Okay. So I mean, basically, we're talking about limiting beliefs because that's what's preventing us really from
Right.
doing what it
Yes.
is we love doing, whether it's meeting a romantic partner, or
Exactly.
maybe it's getting a new job or whatever that is that's preventing us from that
Yes.
goal that we want.
Right.
Wonderful.
And even not being able to identify what you want is kind of shoved down
Mm,
by limiting beliefs, anxiety, whatever. So
yes,
some people can't even identify what they want next.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if they've been um, in relationships that have. Oh, Abdul is asking who you are. Could you please
Oh,
introduce yourself a bit, please?
I am Teri Bach, and I have a coaching business called Untapped Potential Coaching.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you. I'm glad we mentioned it. And thanks for asking that question,
Yes,
Abdul.
thank you. I guess I didn't put it up on my little sign.
That's great. I think, Abdul, I'm going to ask you because I can't remember where you're from. Where are you watching from, Abdul? Could you type that in the chat box where you're watching from? Where meaning in which country? Because I don't think it's United States or even Canada.
Ah,
He says yes, but where are you watching from? Which country, Abdul?
oh, and he's from YouTube or on YouTube?
That's right, yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm from Qatar. Wow.
Oh,
You're calling. You're not calling in, but you're watching from very far. Yes, and he's becoming one of my regulars on YouTube, which is really nice.
nice.
Really, really nice. All right. Well, we are at the end of our time. I try not to talk for so long because we could that easily talk for longer.
Much, much easier. Yes. Much.
Absolutely. I want to thank you. One question that I always asked when the group was called Back in Your Groove again for women, how do you get back in your groove? What do you do to get back in your groove, Teri?
What does back in your groove mean? Is that supposed to be kind of,
Back to being yourself, back to feeling
mm,
really good about who you are.
well, first I have to get clear on what that is. And for me, it's writing. I have to write.
Hmm,
I find my voice when I write, which sounds backwards. But sometimes it's just I'll start writing and I start getting really clear on what I want and
nice.
what's missing in my life. And then I always use tapping
Yeah,
because that voice, always comes up. Oh, you can't do that, or like my wanting to live in Italy part time. It's like, yeah, you're too old, or that's never going to happen. Those voices keep coming up. So
yeah.
those are kind of my two things.
Cool, great. Well, thank you again for being here. It was really
Thanks for
nice to talk
inviting me.
more. It was fun. Thanks again for
Yeah.
helping me with my beliefs around not being able to meet somebody. I really appreciated that.
Well,
And
let me know if you want to do some deeper work on it.
of course I will. All right, thank you. I'm going to end the broadcast here now.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody. Bye-bye now.